of China, Tzu Chi volunteers visit cataract patients in Jiangsu province, Shuyang. We explore the community regeneration project launched by the students of Tainan National University of Arts. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Helen Liao. Thank you for joining us. In China for the past 5 years, in Jiangsu province, Shuyang, Tzu Chi volunteers have been helping economically disadvantaged residents receive cataract surgery. Ahead of another round of surgeries, volunteers visited those slated for the procedure, bring love, encouragement, and hope in their wake.
As volunteers arrive at the home of this grandmother, who is soon to be a recipient of Tzu Chi's cataract surgery, she is already at the door waiting to greet the volunteers. The grandmother currently looks after her 4 grandchildren. However, cataracts have turned her world blurry, and she is worried she won't be able to see her grandchildren grow up. Another grandmother praises the volunteers for their compassion. Next, volunteers visit Yitao Town, one of the more remote areas of Shuyang County. There live an elderly couple, both of whom suffer from cataracts. Upon hearing that her husband is slated for surgery, his wife breaks down in tears of happiness. And this grandfather, who missed his chance last year because of health problems, is on the list again this year. It seems wherever the volunteers go, they bring happiness and laughter in their wake. Thanks to the love and care of volunteers, residents' hearts are already full of hope.
In Indonesia, volunteers from the Tzu Chi Indonesia chapter continue to distribute rice from Taiwan to impoverished residents. This time, the rice distributions were organized in 3 different areas. Apart from the 50 tons of rice for the Nonor Imam boarding school, some 4,300 families in Jakarta's Pedemangan, 160 students of an Islamic school, as well as 4,000 other impoverished families received this love from Taiwan.
Chatting
to Tzu Chi volunteers in fluent Mandarin, this is a day much anticipated by students of the Islamic Nurul Iman boarding school, as Tzu Chi volunteers have not only brought rice with them, but have brought their warmth and care.
So much.
I'm sincerely grateful. Thank you so much, Tzu Chi volunteers, for the rice provisions. With the extra money, we can use it on renovations for our school, so our students can study in a better environment.
Since 2003, Tzu Chi volunteers have been providing the school with 50 tons of rice each month. The relationship between volunteers and students is just like that of a close-knit family. Not only are students learning Chinese and Jingzi aphorisms, but they're also finding ways to relay their love through small acts of kindness.
We shouldn't always just receive, we should learn to give as well. I think this is a very good way of teaching. I always tell my students that it is more blessed to give than to receive.
Meanwhile, here in Jakarta's Pademangan, Tzu Chi volunteers teamed up with the local government and police to carry out a rice distribution for 4,300 families. This time, they were joined by a group of local volunteers who were eager to serve members of their community.
We are from a women's welfare group. Tzu Chi's rice distribution has given us an opportunity to serve members of our community. Such humanitarian charity event transcends all religious boundaries. I hope to call on more friends to join as volunteers.
Here at an Islamic school in North Jakarta, volunteers distribute 3.5 tons of rice to 160 impoverished students. For Ramdani's family of 3 who have been seeking shelter under a bridge, this bag of rice means they no longer have to go hungry, and it can finally lift some burden off their mother's shoulders.
With this rice, we don't have to worry about not having any food. If my mother doesn't have money for groceries, at least we can eat rice mixed with salt.
I'm really happy to receive this bag of rice, as the price of rice is high right now. If you don't have a job, you simply can't afford it. This bag of rice is enough to last us 2 weeks.
As this school only has 3 classrooms and the main structure is deteriorating, beginning this July, Tzu Chi volunteers have extended financial support for the renovation of the school, in hopes of providing these students a safe environment to study.
To celebrate the 20th anniversary at the Tzu Chi Singapore chapter, for the next few days we'll be exploring Tzu Chi's footsteps in the country. In 1993, Tzu Chi Singapore chapter was officially established, and since then has continued to help the less fortunate in the country. In our next report, let's meet Liu Jinglian, who is the first Tzu Chi seat in Singapore. In 2013, Tzu Chi's Buddha Day ceremony held in Singapore was participated by more than 8,000 local residents. For the past 20 years, Tzu Chi volunteers have been providing the less fortunate in this country with their love and care. This is Liu Jinglian, who is the first Tzu Chi seat in Singapore. After marrying a Singaporean in 1987, Liu moved to the country. While adapting to the local environment, Liu has thoughtfully seized every opportunity to introduce Tzu Chi to those around her.
今年大家都说新加坡、马来西亚都20年哈，其实呢，从1987年开始哈，那新加坡呢，近年呐，从那个时候她少女的时候是在花莲哈，后来呢，她嫁到了新加坡去呢，她就开始把慈济的种子带到新加坡哈去耕耘。她是从1987年开始。 但是呢，为什么会叫做20年呢？因为我们是以这样的心情哈，那正式成立基金会算起，要不然的话是20多年呐。
The Tzu Chi Singapore chapter was established on March 10, 1991, and the opening ceremony was held at the Baoguan Temple. Later, on September 20, 1993, the Tzu Chi Singapore chapter was officially registered in the country. Among the first 10 certified Tzu Chi volunteers in Singapore is Lu Chuanjing.
I was very moved and excited. It was my first time visiting a law firm. It was something that I have never done before. During the Eastern China flood, we couldn't encourage members of the public to donate publicly because Tzu Chi wasn't a registered charity organization yet. When Tzu Chi was officially registered as a charity organization in the country, all of us were so happy.
In 1998, Tzu Chi's first home in Singapore was established at the local Chinatown. This place has held many care recipients, recruited many volunteers and Tzu Chings. It has also changed countless people's lives for the better. Jingsi Abode Dharma Master De Rang, who had traveled from Taiwan to assist local Tzu Chi volunteers for more than 2 years, shares with us her memories.
Back then, it was a bit chaotic. We were looking for ways to settle people's hearts so we could work together. It is a concept that Master Cheng Yen has been talking about, which is to work in unity.
In 2003, the Tzu Chi Singapore chapter set up a new goal, and that is to establish a Jingsi Hall. With the help of Tzu Chi Malacca chapter director Liu Jiyu and countless Singapore Tzu Chi volunteers, the local Jingsi Hall officially opened to the public in 2005.
I wish that the establishment of the Jingsi Hall would be beneficial to residents in this community or even all the citizens in Singapore. Thank you.
Last year, Tzu Chi volunteer Liu Ruishi takes on the responsibilities as the director of the Tzu Chi Singapore chapter.
We hope that in the years to come, Tzu Chi's spirit can reach the mainstream and encourage more people to join our ranks. We hope to spread Tzu Chi to all corners of the world.
In the years to come, Singapore Tzu Chi volunteers will continue spreading Tzu Chi spirit far and wide, making this country full of love. In recent years, Taiwan has seen a vibrant community regeneration movement, especially in the rural areas where the aging population can be found. To revitalize these areas with energy, students from the Tainan National University of the Arts carried out a community regeneration project in DaAi Village, Guantian district of Tainan, where they invited local senior residents to join their effort in rebuilding their community.
It is a busy morning for the local residents of the DaAi Village in Guantian district of Tainan. As part of the community regeneration project, the workers are building an outdoor kitchen for the locals to enjoy a good time with their fellow neighbors. Among the workers are not only local residents, but also the students of the Tainan National University of the Arts and the project leader, Professor Zheng Xunzhen.
In the beginning of the project, we worked on a smaller public space, and later more and more local residents joined us, and the interaction between the residents and the students has become more dynamic.
In 1930, most of the local residents were relocated here due to the construction of the Wushantou Reservoir. Up until now, the DaAi Village has become an aging community and has gradually lost its vitality.
Most of these senior residents used to be idle. They spend most of their time waiting for their family members to come back to visit them. However, now with this community regeneration scheme, they find something worth paying attention to.
The student group of the Tainan National University of the Arts carries out this community regeneration project, attracting many curious seniors to check out their progress.
These seniors also share the sense of achievement in rebuilding their village, especially when their friends compliment how unique their village has become.
Following a day of hard work, these residents soon moved to another important gathering place called Miga. Before, this place was a rice milling factory, and now it is a premise for the locals to come up with creative ideas.
Before, most of the seniors used to stay at home and chat with their friends. They didn't care about what happened in the village. I think it's an encouraging sight to see some seniors starting to care about this project, even though they are too old to help out.
Community regeneration is a scheme proposed by the then Council of Cultural Affairs in 1993. Through such a scheme, local residents can work collectively in rebuilding their neighborhood and create the characteristics unique to their community.
This village has changed for the better. Over the past 6 years, our villagers have witnessed its transformation. Now the village has become clean, energetic, and much more interesting.
Attracted by the welcoming atmosphere of the DaAi Village, artist Wang Xingyu decided to open her studio here.
Some residents often come to us to see if they can get defected items back home to decorate their yards. This is a great change because they used to turn their land into a vegetable garden. It was impossible for them to place sculptures in their yards in order to embellish their living environment.
A roll of drums was heard from the local community center. 80-year-old Chen Laifu is teaching the youngsters how to play the bamboo drum. As part of the community regeneration project, Chen plays an important role in passing on this fading technique.
If I didn't teach you, you wouldn't know how to play it. It's good to see everyone play the music together. It's fun.
Through the community regeneration project, the DaAi Village has found back its long-lost energy and vitality and turned it into the momentum to keep this village rolling.
In the past, becoming a teacher was a dream come true for many, as it is a stable and honorable career. However, with the passing of time, in addition to the declining birth rate, many private schools have found it difficult to survive, and some teachers are also faced with the possibility of unemployment. In our next report, we go to Tainan's Huaji Yong'an High School, which is the first of the 29 schools that is to be closed down next year.
Unlike any other school that is always filled with students' laughter and noise, time has stopped here at Tainan's Huaji Yong'an High School, as it is the first of the 29 schools on the Ministry of Education's observation list to close down.
I was just here last semester teaching in this classroom. The whole classroom is still fully equipped.
Speaking of the school's glorious history and how it came to be in today's situation, acting principal Zhang Yuwen, who is in charge of a variety of tasks, is the only one left to guard the school grounds.
I think the decline in birth rate is one of the main reasons, or perhaps we just didn't work hard enough. Some schools still do well in their enrollment numbers. It might just be that we didn't run the school properly, or maybe our school isn't popular, so I can only guard this place by myself now.
The declining birth rate and the management method of private schools have had a direct impact on the number of recruited students. In the face of such circumstances, the Ministry of Education sets out an indicator for schools with below 600 students, an evaluation of 4 or other, and an annual recruitment of 60% or less to receive counseling. If no improvements have been made, the school will then need to be closed down.
The declining birth rate means that some of the schools, including private or remote public schools, will probably be closed down. However, we hope that the government will take this issue seriously and maybe come up with a better strategy so that some schools will be able to have proper closure and in the end help solve some of the society's issues.
In the future, how schools will be consolidated in the best interest of their students is a challenge for school authorities and government officials. However, teachers are among those who are directly influenced.
The question is how to achieve that enrollment number and recruit quality students. It will be an issue faced by both public and private schools. A teacher's job is like a mission or a goal. It is a sense of mission. Though it may be pressurizing and covers a variety of tasks, you will reap great rewards and accomplishments here. Han Yu, a famous poet in the Tang Dynasty, once spoke of how teachers are like preachers that help solve their students' doubts. In the old days, teachers were more focused on teaching. However, today, these educators are also required to enhance their skills, and schools must create their competitiveness to stand through the changes of time.
In 1991, Tzu Chi volunteers first set foot in China in the wake of severe flooding on China's eastern region. Since then, Tzu Chi volunteers have been there to help through every disaster, big or small. Over these past 2 decades, not only have these volunteers helped tens of thousands of residents, but have also inspired thousands of locals to join as volunteers themselves. Recently, over 100 of these volunteers traveled to Taiwan for a chance to get a closer look at the many facets of Tzu Chi's missions.
172 volunteers from all over China are met by Taoyuan Tzu Chi volunteers as they arrive in Taiwan for the start of their visit. Although the land is new, the Chinese volunteers feel right at home surrounded by their Tzu Chi family.
累嘛哈，delay了1个小时嘛。
对，有延迟1个小时。
那时候的心情怎么样？
心情也不差呀，因为想得很快就可以到这里，就会觉得回家嘛不怕迟，只要到了就好。
I was attracted by the idea of teaching Jingsi aphorisms in schools. After finishing my job and getting the approval of my leader, I decided to come to Taiwan to learn more about teaching these aphorisms. I want to take what I have learned back to the kindergarten that I work at.
Arriving at the Taoyuan Jingsi Hall, everyone's tiredness disappears in a rush of excitement. There, the Chinese volunteers are welcomed by local volunteers with open hearts and arms. At the Tzu Chi Humanitarian Center in Taipei's Guandu, 150 Chinese volunteers from Quanzhou, Xiamen, Sichuan and other cities are here to learn more about DaAi TV. For Ye Yahe from Zhangzhou, his goal is to learn more about how the TV station runs. A frequent viewer himself, Ye can often be found in the parks telling others about the programs found on DaAi TV. He hopes this trip will give him even more information to share.
I've seen good results by watching the DaAi channel. The main thing is the content is all positive. There's no negative content at all.
Whether it is spreading the message of love by media or word of mouth, such events help volunteers plant the seeds of goodness in even more people.
As this year marks the 20th anniversary of Tzu Chi Hong Kong chapter, Tzu Chi volunteers have come together to put on the sign language musical of the Water Repentance Sutra. Tzu Chi volunteer Wang Chun, who is in charge of teaching sign language, not only inspired her daughter but also her husband to take part.
Tzu Chi volunteer Wang Chun, who is in charge of teaching sign language, was at first in doubt when her daughter wanted to take part in the musical.
It is hard to teach my daughter because I can't scold her or hit her. Even if I spoke to her softly, she won't listen.
Wang is also worried that her daughter, who is in her second year in junior high school, won't be able to catch up on her schoolwork.
I insisted that if she wanted to practice, she will have to do it our way. When she went home, she would have other homework to catch up. She stayed up late as she was quite slow. I asked her if she wanted to quit and she said no, she must take part.
Nonetheless, a Jingsi aphorism inspired Wang to let go of her worries. She even convinced her family to adopt a vegetarian diet.
It is just like what the master said, we must be mindful. So I thought of using the food she likes to cook. I tore the mushrooms into slices so that it will taste like chicken. I can even turn them into sushi. The bean curd sushi they sell outside, I will cook instant rice and put them in it.
Wang's husband, who also took part in the musical, was invited to the stage twice to share his thoughts. United as one, this family looks to walk the Tzu Chi path together.
My wife has been a part of Tzu Chi for many years now, and I feel deeply inspired because she has changed so much over time. I want to change too.
Wang Chun's story goes to show that when one has the will, nothing is impossible.
We go back to Taiwan at the end of the show. To celebrate Taiwan's Teachers' Day, New Taipei City Tzu Chi volunteers held tea ceremonies at DeYing and Mingzhi elementary schools to give students the chance to thank their educators. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for watching DaAi Headlines. Goodbye.